what's happening here this week in Hack the Building has a societal impact. I would say national security is a very small part of this. This has potentially an impact for everybody, every school, every home, every apartment building, every commercial building. I mean, what we learned here this week, how we apply that, and most important for me, how do we incentivize the adoption of these technologies, these sensors, some of the things that we've seen this week work? How do we incentivize the adoption of those so we become safer as a society? Not just DOD or Department of Defense, but overall in every aspect of our society, not just in this country, but around the world. It's really, I think you've done an amazing job leading the nation and trying to educate both on what can happen to a building and technologies that are available by good companies to try to prevent that. So really what the education for me is and why I came out here today, to get a good idea of, yes, it's true, thermostats can be turned into listening devices, elevators can be taken over, cameras can be shut down, but there are also companies out there offering technologies and services that can prevent that. The goal here is, yes, be aware of what can happen, but ultimately be aware of understand there are solutions out there. Now we need to figure out a way to incentivize that. How do we make folks want to pay for that? We have a gap of understanding between the IT world and the OT world, between the folks who run information systems and those who run building management systems. The building guys, and I'm an old civil engineer, Air Force civil engineer. I grew up, leading HVAC guys and folks who are worried about maintaining buildings. They don't necessarily understand the IT world. So I think what you've done here this week is bridge that gap a little bit, have the building guys talking to the IT guys and making sure that there's an understanding of, hey, we have a threat here that we need a kind of a collaborative solution on. And I think this has been a great week to be able to close that gap. As you know, we're putting more robots in every aspect of our society. We're looking at smart cars. We're looking at smart TVs in our homes. And as you know, for the past 10 years, what do you do with your camera on your laptop or your PC? You put a little cover over it. You know it can get hacked, but we don't necessarily have anything more than that in place. So what you're doing here today ultimately can have an impact on everyone's home in the future. There's a lot of folks that would like to buy that smart technologies for their home, but they're worried about the security. We come up with solutions here today. We come up with that collaboration, offer that solution in a way that a homeowner now can feel more comfortable about what they would like to see for technologies in their home in the future that will give them that security. So the big takeaway for me is an awareness. I love the fact that we've got companies here that offer solutions. So for those companies that offer solutions, we need to incentivize their technologies, their services, in a way that folks want to be more secure. I believe you do need a national discussion on this. Folks weren't talking about a pandemic a year ago, right? No one really understood that. Now you see a year later what it's done to our society. You can only imagine what would happen if somebody in an office building somewhere all of a sudden had their elevator drop. What that would do to society's confidence as a whole to walk into any elevator anywhere. So the goal here this week is raise awareness, realize there are solutions, not just problems, and then now how do we as a nation move forward on a process that will allow us to incentivize the adoption of these technologies. That's what I'm working on.